All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. Thank you so much for joining us here. My name is Trevor Greenfield. I will be your host commentator today here on the VirtualRacing.Network, and this is coverage of the 2021 IndyCar iRacing series. This is round 3, the second race of the week, so race number 2 from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway in virtual Fort Worth, Texas. Right now, the Indy cars in real life are getting ready. They should be arriving and should be just preparing for their weekend here at the Texas Motor Speedway, where they'll be doing a double header. I hope those of you who are fans of the IndyCar series will be tuning in for that. But thanks to the power of sim racing and the internet, we're able to have a race right now. In fact, we have 5 races scheduled for this week. As I mentioned, this being the second one of the week for the 2021 IndyCar iRacing series here. So as we get set to go into qualifying momentarily, let's go ahead and take a look at where we stand in the points coming into this race for the series. And right now we have Adam Crane, nobody's surprised there, the defending series champion, still in first place. As I mentioned, there has been another race this week, so you see some drivers with 2 weeks counted and some with 3 weeks counted so far. Some participated in that first race that went on Wednesday night here in the United States. Other drivers, this will be their first start of the week. Now, if you take a look through the current points as we get ready to go here for qualifying, and I think there's been a small glitch in our software, so we're going to take a moment and reload here just to make sure that we get everything all set for you correctly. But once again, brand new to this, brand new to the to running all of this software and getting it all set up. VirtualRacing.Network, brand new network out there on the internet covering races for iRacing. So we should be able to join here in just a moment. I think somehow we ended up on the wrong session, but we'll get into the correct session and we will be starting our coverage of qualifying. So as I was just mentioning for the points, it's really nobody's surprise to see Adam Crane at the top with Satellite Motorsports and Henry Bennett with Powerslide Motorsports they're in second place. But as you will see as we get back into the session here, with the estimated strength of field of this session being 3,620, that's actually a very important number, and we'll be covering why that is here in just a moment. But you will see in third place in the points has managed to creep a name that is very familiar to those of you who have been watching the IndyCar iRacing Road Open Series, and that is Rob Unglenox. Now, the difference between the top 2 drivers at this moment is just 7 points, 624 for Adam Crane and 617 for Henry Bennett. However, that third place back to Rob Unglenox is well over 130 points back, so he'll have some catching up to do over the coming weeks. Nevertheless, for him to find himself up in third position, I'm sure he'll be quite happy. And a name that we mentioned in the first week, Severi Seppa, who did not have a very good race in our broadcasted race here on VirtualRacing.Network, he actually finds himself in fourth position. And now you can most likely hear the audio. Let's see if we can cut over and get some video of, as you can see here, Adam Crane taking to the track. In fact, he has just set his time, so we take a look at where they have qualified as we get the points off of the screen here. And you can see, I'm seeing we do have Henry Bennett on track. He just finished his qualifying laps. Here is Christian McCrelly, who is going to be finishing... Oh, and hits the wall. Christian McCrelly, unfortunately, not having the qualifying effort that he would like. Here we switch over to Matt Hallibutt. Another very familiar name. Very flattering photo there of Matt, supplied by him. He always loves to have a little bit of humor tied into his racing. So Matt here turning in a time good enough for 9th place. As we take a look at the top 10 as it stands, it's Andreas Ike with a 23.85. And then we see Hugo Olsson with a 23.89. Thomas Christensen with a 23.95. That's why we don't have Thomas in our chat today, because he's out there racing. So then Tiago Perez of Brazil in 4th. So it's a all Scandinavian club lockout of the top 3 positions, and your favorite Adam Crane actually finds himself, your series defending champion, will actually find himself starting a little bit further back than he would like, in 5th position there. There on the screen, if I can hide Matt's face for a moment, you see Andreas Ike takes the pole with Hugo Olsson there in 2nd. Thomas Christensen 3rd, Tiago Perez, Adam Crane, Robert Maleska, there, our first American driver showing up in 6th place, Alex Newsom and Oliver Silva starting in the 4th row, Matt Hallibutt and Chris Willite making his appearance known there in the top 10. 11th, Jacob Otmansky, and then we also have our driver that we were talking about at the top of the show, Rob Unglenox, there in 12th place, starting on the 6th row. Rob looking to, I guess, you never really know what the strength of field is going to be getting into the race. As we move ahead in our grid here, but you never know exactly what the strength of field is going to be, so predicting the points that you might get, you just pretty much enter as many races as you can to try to defend. So here we can see Laura Gerhardt starting 13th, Kyler Sosnowski there in 14th. Now this is a bit different, folks. We have a lot of drivers starting here. This is it's kind of interesting. There was about 70, I want to say 78 drivers registered for this race, and that of course pulls them across 2 splits. So normally in road races you'd see this across 3 splits or possibly more. However, in this race there's just 2 splits. So we have, or at least that's what I saw before. I'll have to look at that real quick. I have 26 drivers in this race, so it should be quite a full race. It's a lot of action. I actually managed to participate in a race just earlier this week in the Road Open Series, and I can tell you there was a ton of cautions. So we hope, of course, for green flag all the way through, but I'm just saying, get the popcorn and the soda and or beer ready to go, as well as the peanuts, and a clear trip to the restroom, because we may be sitting here for quite a while. Anyway, you can see the rest of the 2021 points. Now, this top split is actually lower of a top split strength of field at 3.6 thousand iRating than the race that we had earlier in the week, which is about a 4,200 iRating on Wednesday night. So this is actually, it will definitely impact some drivers in that they may actually gain quite a few points, especially if they haven't started for the week. They'll be up there in the points to get the position as we get ready to go green, and we are green for 186 laps of fun action here at Texas Motor Speedway. Andreas Ike leads us down with Hugo Olsson there in the yellow car in second place. We see Hugo catching a draft up on Andreas, and we have an incident. There is the incident. Looks like Miguel Bento having an incident a little bit further back. Let's see if we can catch it here. And there it is, just spinning around a little bit, getting a little lost. And it looks like it's caught several drivers out. Unfortunately, we've got Connor Pearson and Justin Petshower caught in that as well. Let's see if we can tell what happened from a little bit closer. Just by themselves, and unfortunately, oh, and I apologize, we have that graphic on the screen. Once again, still getting used to how this all works, folks. Apologize for missing that coverage. I will get better at this over the coming weeks and months. And so, yeah, unfortunately, that will, it might end his day, although let's take a look how it looked from Justin Petshower's point of view. The benefit is we have a lot of ways. You know what? Let's take a look at Connor Pearson's point of view. Not sure if this is the same incident. So we're going to take a look once again. We're going to go back to the original incident. We can see Miguel Bento losing it here. And it looks like, yeah, the accident happened for Justin a little bit further back. Let's see, from his point of view, coming through the incident, just smoke everywhere. It's Days of Thunder. And unfortunately, it just seems like nowhere to go. Whoever that was came up and kind of hit him. So Dan Ench, Last Lap Motorsports, is in this race, and it appears as though he might have also had an incident. Not sure. We're going to see if we can track that down. He did come into the pits, and perhaps just to get new tires and fuel. Dan is very clever at strategy, that is for sure. We have a note here that says Oliver Silva has crashed. Is this under yellow? Oliver Silva, it may just be because he went down there on the apron, but no, has pulled off and is just waiting on track. Perhaps got a penalty and had to go to the end of the line. That's one of the penalties that you get for entering a closed pit or something along those lines. So a little bit strange there. But as we go back up forward, we can take a look at the live picture and switch back over to a TV camera, and we can see our team talent driver. And I'm getting another note that looks like Connor Pearson has crashed again. Left pit lane, and he's just crabbing down the pit lane. So it appears as though whatever damage he sustained earlier has caused him to exit the race. And now we've got Miguel Bento again. It's saying that he crashed. Oh, and there you can see once again. Now, I had this exact problem happen to me. It was quite, I'm just going to say it was horribly embarrassing for me in my race. I ended up actually, and I'll just say this live, I don't even give two fudges. I'm just going to say I accidentally didn't take out the leaders because I didn't actually crash into them. But what happened was I came into the pits, they fixed it, quote unquote, offered me an optional repair, and I did not take the optional, and I came around. Now the lights are off on the pace car, so we're ready to go green, guys. I don't want to miss it this time. Here we go. Getting ready, getting set, Andreas Ike.
Green.
And he gets a fantastic jump. No problems whatsoever. So as you can see, here we are at dusk at Texas Motor Speedway. My name is Trevor Greenfield. You are watching 2021 coverage of the IndyCar iRacing series here on VirtualRacing.Network. Thank you so much. If you like this coverage, make sure to give a thumbs up and a like there on the bottom, and you might as well subscribe. We've got some awesome action happening a little bit further back in the pack. Let's check it out as Hugo Olsson sits on the back bumper and tries to get around Andreas Ike, but we've got a lot of cars making their way through the field. Matt Hallibutt up 2 positions, Alex Newsom up 3 positions. Adam Crane has now caught the leaders on lap 7, and Adam Crane might very well have something to say about this party going on at the front before too long. Again, this being such a very, very long race, 186 laps, and so many potential cautions, you really do need to keep it clean. You gotta keep it clean out there. And so it's not necessarily worth it to go up there and try and challenge for the lead immediately for somebody like Adam Crane, but he'll have it in his mind when he wants to make that move. In the meantime, you've got Andreas Ike, hometown Bergen. Now, I think he's taken his age out of there, so I won't refer to it anymore. Not sure. Perhaps I don't have something ticked on correctly, but I would just say, yeah, the age and town are not on there, and I'll respect that. I just want to say that Andreas has been a solid front runner here in the series and in multiple series driving for Team Talent, and it is a pleasure to have the youth of today joining us out there on the track. That is for sure. It's great to see young drivers getting to get up to the front. Take a look back here at Hugo Olsson holding pretty much status quo at the moment. Oh, we have a note that Laura Gearhart has entered the pit lane and exited, so not sure what caused that. We do have Adam Crane back here now under fire from Alex Newsom. So you see Adam Crane in the red, white, and blue VRS sponsored satellite racing team car, and we have some definite movement further back as we see, I think it's Tiago Perez just absolutely weaving his way through, and they went 3 wide there for a moment. Here we have Thomas Christensen dropping back just a little bit now. 4 positions lost on the day as Chris Wilhite actually moves up. He's gotten 4 positions on the day himself. So reversal of fortune for those 2 drivers. We look at Thomas Christensen again down 4 positions as we scroll back, and we can see Alex Newsom there having lost a position, and Matt Hallibutt is right where he started in 9th. So Matt just holding position in the top 10, looking to try to stay up with the lead group and stay out of trouble. Just behind him, Oliver Silva has lost 2 positions today. So the Three Crowns Racing driver there looking to once again hold position, see if he's got something for the end of this race. Jacob Akmansky here in 11th has not gained any positions, nor has Rob Unglenox just behind, has not gained any positions thus far. So once again, some drivers just holding in there, trying to keep it on the track, keep it clean. as we watch up front, and Andreas Ike and Hugo Olsson just locked in a battle for first place on the track. And here we have, take a look at it. We've got Chris Wilhite going inside Tiago Perez for fourth. And then it looks like we have quite a battle happening as Tiago fights side by side. And then we get Robert Maleska jumping inside of Tiago. So perhaps Tiago's tires kicking off a little bit. And here we have another pass as some drivers starting to move forward. It's Robert Maleska, the third, passing Chris Wilhite for fourth position. Get back to the live coverage here. And this is as they run. Andreas Ike hasn't gone anywhere, front ways or back ways. He can't really go too far to the front. But there you see Hugo Olsson trying the outside continually, and Adam Crane as well. So there's some questions. Of course, these drivers, this is our first oval race of the season. And so we have quite a different amount of strategy than we would have on a road course. And here, what you have is no push to pass. You only have one type of tire that you can use. It's the one Firestone tire. And essentially, there's not much you can do about the flexibility of the aero package that is presented to you. So you have some adjustability, and you can try a wing angle adjustment or something along those lines, but a lot of these drivers are going to be running maxed out downforce just to be able to hold in this draft, and a lot of that caused by the aero screen that was added last year that has caused so much aero push in the corners that you really have to tuck maximum amount of downforce into these cars just to be able to stay in this close pack and stay up in the front. And then what that has done, as you see Robert Maleska, the third there, going a bit wide, and it looks like Chris Wilhite might get a run on him. And what that has really done is it's opened up, if you can be the car in clean air, you can actually run a very different race with a slightly different strategy in terms of your downforce that you're going to run for the race, as we see the drivers just barely getting around. Driver that's running very high up the track. So Lyra Gorhart, so sorry Laura, I'm going to butcher everybody's name, it's not just you, I promise. And there, I think Tiago Perez, we might have lost. There might have been a disconnection. We'll have to see. He dropped out and has come back, and sometimes that's an indicator that there might be a disconnection. So there you see Tiago's actually still running in 7th place, but had dropped off the screen for a moment. So at the top of the screen, we have a scroll where you can tell how far back your favorite driver is. Feel free to give a shout over in our live chat room. If you're not watching us right on YouTube, you can join us via YouTube. and feel free to chat with us. Let us know who you're rooting for in the series. If you're a team member or just a fan, a friend, family member watching in, let us know. If you see this race later on and you want to be a part of the series, it's going on iRacing. You just need a subscription and a lot of dedication and practice and a good setup and know how the draft works and know how these cars work. And oh, I don't mean to make it sound overcomplicated. It's not really. It is no, these are one of the most complicated, if not the most complicated, from the overall amount of adjustments that are possible. This is one of the most complicated cars on the service for sure. And so it's not, even though and here we can see just in the back of the shot there, it looks like Adam Crane getting passed by Chris Willite, who moves up into the third position. Very possibly Adam's tires might be starting to go away a little bit, or Adam might be planning on a very long green flag stop, or a green flag stint, in which case he might be fuel saving. So that is one of the many adjustments as we watch this side-by-side battle here with Thiago Perez and Robert Maleska. Thiago has collected himself and brought himself back forward here. And it looks like Maleska and Thomas Christensen, running some high lines back there, might be slipping back a little bit on pace, while Thiago seems to be picking up a little bit of pace. And we can see a couple of other drivers here. Oliver Silva passing Alex Newsom. I don't know if we caught that footage. Here we go. They go 3 wide on the backstretch, and then, yes, indeed, Oliver Silva, and then I believe that Silva has just now passed Thomas Christensen. So move Thomas Christensen a place back and Silva up. As these two, it appears, as we go back to the live shot, we're seeing Christensen under attack from Alexis Newsom and Rob Unglenox. Newsom in the predominantly white car there, and Unglenox in blue. Now Unglenox, of course, is now our third place driver in this championship. Oh, and there we have an incident. It appears as though Christensen got wide, almost got into Hallibutt, and came down into Newsom. Let's see if we can tell what just happened there. And there, that was exactly it. As we could see, it looked like Christensen got into the outside wall. And now we go to Christensen. This is Dan Ench passing Christensen. Yeah, and Christensen has dropped. Christensen now in the pits. So Christensen probably getting repairs. It's a green flag stop. They did not throw the yellow, and that's the worst case news for Christensen, who will not be able to save himself from going a lap down. In the meantime, the team talent driver of Andreas Ike has been leading for all 40 laps, showing no sign of any desire to take a break. Hey, everybody, can we just hold on for a minute? I'll let some of you guys by, and I'll just swing back here and catch the draft and take it easy. None of that for Andreas Ike. Out in front with no issues. And Hugo Olsson here in second. Chris Willite all over the back of Hugo Olsson. So again, really want to see what is going to shake out when we get to our first round of pit stops. So continuing back through the field a little bit, we get back to Matt Hallibutt in 10th. He's down a position on the day. We go back to Kazuhiro Shiba from Japan, who has gained 4 positions on the day. looking good there in 11th. Carlos Ruiz, one of the top drivers in the series right now, in the top of the points, finding himself 4 positions up in 12th. Move back to Jacob Okmansky here in 13th, has lost a couple of positions, but still hanging in with the group. Henry Bennett, perhaps, is the biggest surprise. Henry not really having the pace at the moment, shown in 14th place, gaining 6 positions. I guess we didn't cover that, and I apologize. Again, I'm new to broadcasting, and I've done, this is now, what, my 6th race? So please forgive me that I missed a little bit of coverage at the beginning, and we'll just continue to try to get that better as we get more zeroed in on the qualifying, etc. Somehow we got the wrong session to begin with, and that will set you down the wrong road. Here's Tobias Canter, who we saw last week, here up 9 positions in 15th, so looking to improve. And here's Andrew Wood, the team talent driver who's had just lots of success in the Road Open Series over the last few seasons, in the Elite Series. He's one of the top drivers and frequently finds himself at the front of the field. A lot of small mistakes costing Andrew wins and top finishes over the last bunch of races, so Andrew is always a threat for the front. He's up 6 positions in 16th. Here's Christian Macrelli of Italy in 17th place, 4 positions gained on the day. Julien Arbo from France in 18th, and Dan Ench running for Last Lap Motorsports, Spark VR. Good to see Dan out in the race, getting some laps and getting some points. He's up 7 positions in 19th place. And then that will bring you to the first of the drivers who is a lap down. This is Thomas Christensen, who you saw had a moment just a little while ago, unfortunately getting in the outside wall. Now you see Laura Gearhart here on pit road. It looks like Laura's day is probably done. And here we have Andrew Wood. Andrew Wood entering pit lane. Not sure why it won't show us coverage. Is Andrew out? No, he's just in pit lane. So not really sure if Andrew's just trying to get in, get some new tires, perhaps just caught the wall a little bit. We'll have to wait and see what plays out for Andrew. In the meantime, Dan Ench getting by Julien Arbo there for 17th position. A little bit earlier, we had Alexis Newsom passing Rob Unglenox for 8th place. So Alexis and Rob still fighting it out in this battle. And Adam Crane has now gotten around. This just happened. Adam Crane now getting around at Chris Wilhite. It looks like perhaps Chris is entering the pits. So yes, Chris has entered the pits. Few drivers coming into the pits here. Go to the live footage as Chris Wilhite makes his pit stop. Leaves successfully. And so a lot of jockeying happening here as we get Andreas Ike has entered the pits. Let's go to the live footage and see where he will rejoin. He's already... Oh, they make it so difficult to follow. Here's Andreas Ike leaving the pits. And of course that allows Hugo Olsson to take over. We now have Carlos Ruiz coming into the pit lane. So many drivers making their green flag stops. This is something we did not see a lot of in some of the other races here at Texas. Of course, all 3 series of the IndyCars on iRacing here at Texas this week. And there has just been a lot of incidents and accidents. In the meantime, no incident and accident here. This Matt Hallibutt getting around Rob Unglenox for 7th. Move him up into position 7. Here we are with Andreas Ike. So at the moment, Hugo Olsson still at the front of this field, dodging cars as they come on track. Adam Crane in 2nd, Oliver Silva in 3rd. And Adam Crane, just like that, has actually just entered the pits for his stop. So the question being, and this elevates a couple of other drivers who were further down, still out there. Alexis Newsom in 2nd now. We've got Henry Bennett in 3rd, and Hugo Olsson brings it to pit road, gets it stopped just in time. That's Dan Ench there on the left. Dan pitting out of 8th. And we'll see this long pit road as this allows Alexis Newsom to momentarily take over the lead at the front, with Henry Bennett in 2nd. Hugo Olsson now shown in 3rd. Andreas Ike quickly closing that gap. And we will see whether Hugo rejoins or whether the undercut of Andreas Ike. Oh, and Hugo getting so close to the barrier there on the left. It's pretty amazing. So there you go. Hugo Olsson comes back out behind Andreas Ike, and it looks like Ike a little ways up the track trying to get a final number, but it looks like about 3 seconds or so on Hugo Olsson. So Ike taking that pit stop earlier really helped, as he has now managed to break 3 seconds away. Alex Newsom has taken over the lead, but is now in the pits as we watch the effective leader on track, Andreas Ike, struggling a little bit with traffic here. And Newsom has just come into the pits. So here you can see this is Ike and Ruiz. Ruiz a lap down, and Ike manages to make the pass, although Ruiz very close here. This is something you do have to watch if you are a lapped car. Of course, you are welcome to... And we see that Adam Crane has come back into the pits and left again. So this is big championship implications, ladies and gentlemen. As we watch on screen this very frightening battle, I'm sure, for Andreas Ike, who does not want to see a 0x contact or worse come through his rear view mirror from Carlos Ruiz. I'm sure Ruiz is trying to focus on that championship and doesn't want to make that kind of contact. Wouldn't look good on broadcast, that's for sure. But again, if you're a lap car, you have every right to fight for to get back onto the lead lap, but that's about all you're entitled to do. So if you have a car that can get up there and possibly make a pass, you're legally entitled to do that. Otherwise, if you wreck a leader and you have no chance of making a pass, and you just make an errant decision, well, that is something iRacing and all other leagues will, of course, frown on. So here we see Hugo Olsson getting passed by Chris Wilhite. So Chris Wilhite now into second, 2.75 seconds back of Andreas Ike. That's outside of the tow range. Go back to a live picture of Andreas Ike, who still has Carlos Ruiz on his tail, and as Ruiz potentially drops off the back of Ike, we might see Wilhite be able to pick up that draft and tow him and possibly Hugo Olsson further up to the front. So as I take a moment here, a little breather after all of those pit stops. And we see that Matt Hallibutt is having quite a battle here for 7th place with Oliver Silva. Hallibutt there in your green and white and black machine with Majors Garage, one of the setup shops. From what I understand, he just gets the setups, he pays for the setups, just the same as anybody else, and I suppose you can too. Liam Quinn, the guy who makes the setups for Majors Garage, is a favorite in any series that he ever competes in. So he is Indy Road Series. He has finished very well, is currently up in the points there, and of course that's one of the great things about iRacing. A lot of these drivers, including Adam Blocker and a number of others, are actually making setups that you can purchase and download. So if you are struggling with setups and you want to download one that's real fast, there's a good place to start. They also have some free options. Many of these places have free options. And somebody who we haven't seen out there this week, Joshua Chin, also somebody who makes setups for these different series. You can find him over on Craig A. Williams' setup shop. You can get a free subscription to that one if you go through your Amazon Prime. If you pay for Amazon Prime, you can go use your subscription on their Twitch channel for Craig A. Williams. By now you probably know that, but if you're just new and starting out, you may not know that. And if you join one of these setup shops, even if you get the free versions, or as we see this battle going on here with Alexis Newsom and Oliver Silva, even if you get the free versions, they tend to be much better than the baseline, and certainly have a little bit more thought towards actual racing conditions that you might find yourself in. So I highly suggest that you do sign up with one of these setup shops, and that way at least you have something that's competitive that you can run with each week. Unless you are a data engineer car specialist who has 20 years working with Indy cars, I really suggest you go that route. Back to the race though. Here we look at Rob Unglenox, and this battle, Matt Hallibutt just dropped back from it, but Rob Unglenox now finding himself up 4 positions. It's exactly what he wants to maintain that 3rd position in the championship. He'll look at continuing. He managed to snag a podium position, and I didn't get a chance to mention it, but Ty McWhirter, also, he's not in this race, but Ty McWhirter actually was up there in the first race and won. Ty, having been around iRacing for a long time, and not necessarily an IndyCar racer per se, but has a very high iRating, and came out and just managed to win, knock one of these things off here in the IndyCar iRacing series. And that's really one of the best things about this series, is that it allows anybody from anywhere to enter, and you don't have to sign up ahead of time to compete like a league. You can just drop in. So if you're highly skilled in, say, road racing discipline, you could come out and buy the Indy car and show up for the race and win it. If you have a high enough iRating to get into the race, you can do it. Meantime, I'm showing you Tobias Canter, who is our all-star of the day so far, our hard charger. Tobias gaining 14 positions already, finding themselves there in 10th. So congrats to Tobias. Hopefully they can continue to have the type of day that they've been having. And in the meantime, we take a look back here at Adam Crane, who's now closing in on Rob Unglenox. Adam Crane, our leader in the championship, the defending series champion of the 2020 IndyCar iRacing series, not having an awesome day. It's possible he might have had a speeding penalty or something else that caused, on pit road, something else possibly that caused him to have to repit again now finding himself down a lap and trying to fight his way back through the field. You can certainly get a lap back, very easy to do on an oval, but you do have to have the brakes kind of go your way. And in the meantime, we take a look here at Andreas Ike, who's now been passed again by Carlos Ruiz. I'm not sure if that's something that Andreas wants or doesn't want. If Andreas hangs back in the draft, he can fuel save. But there you've got a lapped car that's in front of you. I don't think Andreas would be looking necessarily at Carlos Ruiz as a direct competitor for the front today, given the pace that we've seen already. But that is something that could be in your mind if you're Andreas, is Carlos is close enough on pace. I don't know if I want him to have a lap back or not. In either case, he is in front, and Carlos Ruiz is making life difficult here at the front for Andreas. And so, just as we were talking about a moment ago, folks, if we look at the bigger picture here, let's see if we can see it on screen. Now, you can see Chris Wilhite here in second with Hugo Olsson directly behind in third. And that gap has closed to just 1 second up to Andreas Ike. There you can see how close it is getting again. That was all the way up to 3 seconds, but with Chris Wilhite and Hugo Olsson staying in formation and Andreas Ike having to do battle with Carlos Ruiz, it looks like that lead has evaporated. So now less than a second back to Chris Wilhite. And we'll just watch this for the moment on board with Hugo Olsson looking past Chris Wilhite up at the front. They should be joining any moment now. So now comes the point where if you're Andreas Ike, things are starting to get real. You're about to get your two major competitors rejoining you, and whatever strategy you've been working on, well, your competitors are here. So if you're locked in a fuel save mode, you might come out of fuel save, and there you can see Andreas on screen going to the outside on Carlos Ruiz. He might be trying to make that one stick and put Ruiz potentially between him and Wilhite. It's also possible he may just not have anything in the tank. It may be Ruiz himself who's running wide open, and Ike may not be able to just get by. In the meantime, there you see it. Chris Wilhite in the dark purple machine. Oh, and I believe that was Ike who got up into the wall. Ike, contact with the wall. Slipping back, possibly off pace. Ike out of first position. So easy to do. Slipping back now, and that gives the lead to none other than Chris Wilhite. He'll have to deal with Carlos Ruiz here in a moment, but at the meantime, that was something Chris absolutely wanted to see. Andreas Ike perhaps having a small moment. We'll see if we can... I don't have the ability to independently queue up something from the past, so it would be difficult to go back and look at that unless it's... let's see if we can... if this will work. Let's see if we can go back a little bit. We'll see if... Apologize, I don't have my own person running. Yeah, there it is. You saw it on the screen. Andreas Ike really just having a moment, getting up into the outside wall, making one of those contacts. Now, Andreas showing no incidents, so that, in fact, was a 0x scrape. And as I said, I had an incident here. I'm not going to make it about me, but I'm just saying in my race, I've had plenty of these 0x contacts where you don't know. Did it kill my speed by 2 miles an hour? Did it completely bend my car? Will I even be able to drive? It is that serious if you just go out there and make a little bit of contact, a little Texas stripe or Darlington stripe as you would. As a driver, you really don't know. And here we see Chris Willite really has his hands full with Carlos Ruiz. I'm sure this is not what either one of these drivers at the front, Chris Willite or Hugo Olsson, would want to see, but Chris absolutely forcing his way through and finally puts Carlos Ruiz in his mirror. Carlos is 1 lap down, was just a lap, just had gotten his lap back from Ike. Ike now 1.4 seconds back from Willite, as you see him starting to drop back in the picture there. I'm sorry, I misspoke. He's 1 second back. Now, Ike is going to have to worry about Maleska, Robert Maleska III, also coming up. So we take a look a little bit further back. This is Robert Maleska III there with the one car. The one car, he has 5,388 iRating. So that is why he was given the number 1 car, very high I-rated guy. And Tiago Perez just behind him. So this gap to the front has closed. What was broken open after that last pit stop has now come back. And it looks like on pace, it's Chris Willite who's got it at the halfway mark here as we hit 95 laps of 186 complete. You are watching VirtualRacing.Network. My name is Trevor Greenfield. I am your host. I've been calling all of the weeks so far of this 2021 IndyCar iRacing series. This is our 3rd week, 3rd round. This is the 2nd race of the week. There are 5 different races planned through, it's basically Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and then 2 races on Sunday. And so this is the 2nd of them, and this has been one of the highest strength of field races, though this particular race is not the highest strength of field. That would go to the race that was on Wednesday night in the top split. But as we look back from Chris Willite here at Hugo Olsson, still having to do battle with Carlos Ruiz, this is giving Willite a little bit of an opportunity to breathe some fresh air up at the front and not have somebody right on his rear bumper. I'm thinking that he wants something to happen behind where these guys get into a tangle, or in other ways it holds up Hugo Olsson. But I think Hugo now has gotten by safely. And so in the meantime, let's do a little recap here. We've got Chris, and just as I say that, we go back and we take a look, and it's Andreas Ike falling back here, now getting passed by Tiago Perez. Ike having issues. Did we just see something happen ahead? I'm not sure. I just saw some smoke. I didn't see who was involved. Andreas Ike, I'm sure, would love to see a caution right now so he could get in and get that damage fixed. But in the meantime, the reset I promised as Hugo Olsson moves by Chris Willite, who comes into the pits. I'm not sure if that was planned. We could take a look here at the pit stop strategy on your screen. And this seems like an early stop. It certainly seems like an early stop. So that allows Hugo Olsson to take over the lead, and Robert Maleska also follows suit into the pits. So this is just a couple of laps earlier than Olsson for sure. We also had Andrew Wood into the pits. And so our current running order, Hugo Olsson, Alexis Newsom, Tiago Perez, Andreas Ike still suffering along, now has pulled into the pits. So we'll see. It's potential that Andreas Ike could get that damage fixed. Unfortunately, to do so under green flag would be very costly, probably to the tune of 20 or 30 seconds. And it depends on whether it's offered as an optional repair or required, because Andreas may not have a choice. So Andreas, sitting on pit road, not moving yet, has queued it up, and it appears as though he's going. So either refused service or was not offered service. So we take a look around as drivers are starting to dive into the pits, and we'll take a... Oh, and there's a yellow. We have Christian McCrelly having an incident. Let's take a look. This is Adam Crane getting around Christian McCrelly. And what happened? He was leaving the pits and just gets it a little wrong. That's so easy to do. You let the car drift out just a little bit. It's really difficult with that throttle leaving the pits to get it just right. Otherwise you will spin or you'll drift up the track, and that brings out the caution. It's our second caution, I believe, on the day. So as Hugo Olsson brings them down to speed, we're going to take just a momentary break. And here Hugo had stayed out, so this is going to massively affect. This is exactly what a driver like Hugo or even Andreas Ike just moments ago would have been wanting to do. Fuel save, stay out a little bit longer, and get the stops to go your way. So Hugo pitting in from the lead is going to give up that lead, but to those drivers who have already pitted, we'll have to see how they will shake out in the field. So we'll just take a momentary break and let you watch the action. We'll be right back. All right, so as we regroup after this pit stop exchange here, and we're on lap 108. As I was saying before, those drivers who stayed out a little bit longer and didn't take the green flag pit stop, finding themselves down a lap. This now puts drivers Alexis Newsom and Hugo Olsson right up in the front. They've managed to shed a couple of the early front runners, including Adam Crane, who had an earlier incident and had to pit a second time. Adam is now shown 2 laps down. And then in addition, one of the other earlier contenders, Andreas Ike, still finds himself on the lead lap. So hopefully they got that problem fixed for Ike. Or actually, he didn't take any sort of repairs. So he'll have to work his way back through the field. We'll see if he has the pace. Meanwhile, Alexis Newsom is leading this race, up 6 positions on the day, gets a good start, good restart, and Hugo Olsson following there. Hugo gets the run going into turn 1, lays it out on the outside. Not able to get any sort of speed down the backstretch. So here we have Carlos Ruiz and Dan Ench battling. It's like Dan maybe getting a little bit wrong exiting 2. Ruiz gets by. And we can see that Christian McRelli has just entered the pits again. So it appears as though Christian McRelli's day is not going over awesome. However, as you just saw there on screen, Hugo Olsson has managed to get by Alexis Newsom for first. So Hugo, and now as we look back, it's Newsom and Perez. And no, folks, it's not a surprise. That is, in fact, Rob Unglenox has moved himself up into 4th place in this race. In the blue and black machine there. So you've got Olsson, Perez, and Newsom battling for position there for 2nd place, and then Rob Unglenox in 4th, with Chris Willite having slid back to 5th, having to make that pit stop under green flag conditions. And now we're seeing there's even a bigger battle still going on back here between Robert Maleska III and Oliver Silva, who just can't seem to figure out who wants to be in front. Take a look at Oliver Silva, Tobias Canter here running in 8th place, up 16 positions for Tobias. Andreas Ike, 8 positions lost on the day, as just ahead, it looks like Robert Maleska did manage to get in front. And while we were looking elsewhere, this is Thiago Perez of Brazil getting around Hugo Olsson and Alexis Newsom. This is Thiago Perez now taking charge, up 3 positions today and leading here on lap 117 of round 3. Race number 2 here at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm thinking I don't have the relative timing directly in front of me, and in fact, that is Adam Crane. Adam Crane there in the Satellite Racing number number 12, the red, white, and blue machine, trying to make up one of the 2 laps that he is down, pushing his way through, and I don't think anybody knows what to make of that. There you also see Henry Bennett in the picture. Bennett also on the same lap, I believe. Yes, on the same lap, 2 laps down as Adam Crane. So, and here Tiago, not real thrilled that he has to work his way through lap traffic. So quite a battle happening here at the front. The leaders just covering 3 seconds, and I'm sorry, the leaders just covering under a second back to 4th place Rob Unglenox. This is such a close battle with several championship contenders involved. Henry Bennett and Adam Crane, though they're both down, are major top 5 contenders in the championship, with Adam Crane being your defending series champion and your current points leader there. So quite a complicated picture as you see the lap car of Adam Crane there at the front with Tiago Perez, your overall race leader, there shown in 2nd place in the green and black car. Running side by side with Adam Crane, there's Hugo Olsson, also one of our top runners in the points. Who is shown effectively in 2nd place. That's where he qualified, that's where he is. See Tiago running up the track a bit, and there we see Matt Hallibutt also entering the picture. Matt, the front edge of the 1 lap down cars, there is so much action, it's getting difficult to keep track of who is where and what is what. You see Rob Unglenox dropping back in that group a little bit. I think maybe he just wants to play it safe as Tiago and Adam up at the front. Both of those drivers desperately want to be the front car. Alex Newsom, and again, you've got the lap car of Matt Hallibutt there on the side. You've got the 2nd lap, or 2 laps down car of Henry Bennett there at the back in the dark green car. And Alex Newsom, that we're focused on, is in 3rd. So we also have, and this is Rob Unglenox up in the mix in 4th place, gaining 8 positions on the day. This is such a good battle, I really don't want to leave it, but it also looks like a little bit further back, you've got Carlos Ruiz and Andrew Wood just nose and tail, side by side, battling it out there for 11th place. This is a lap down. And we move back to the front battle here as Tiago makes his move around the outside of Adam Crane. Hugo Olsson happy to sit there, although I say that and just starting to push his way up there. I think he understands that you don't want to go three wide. Hugo also doing a lot of fuel saving. He's managed to overcut, and that's what got him and Tiago into the position that they're in, as well as Newsom, who effectively took over the lead after the last round of pit stops. So, again, there's Hugo making the move. Saw an opportunity. Tiago backed off of Adam Crane just a little bit, and that allows Hugo Olsson to slide back up into 1st. And now these two battle it out as a very familiar face that I was just talking about. Oh, and it's so close. Henry Bennett there on the inside, a lap car following the lap car of Adam Crane. It's so weird to be talking about these cars as a lap down. You'd think that this is just 1, 2, 3, 4, but it isn't. Hugo Olsson there in your yellow car is actually the race leader with the green and black car, light green, spring green color there behind of Tiago Perez. That is your actual 2nd place car. But there on the inside, you see Adam Crane as well as Henry Bennett, and there Tiago moves down the track to stop a hard-charging Rob Unglenox, who has now effectively taken over second position from Hugo Olsson. I tell you what, there is more action happening at the front of this race than you can keep up with. I believe that might be, I want to say it's Thomas Christensen back there also creeping up. So effectively what's happened is some lap cars who have incredible pace. This is Adam Crane, who's, you know, we don't need to talk about him again, but these lap cars have gone out there and passed the leaders and made it very, very difficult. They are not wanting to work nose and tail with the leaders. They are wanting to be in front, and that's caused a big problem as the leaders on the track have had to go too wide just to be able to try to get around these lap cars. And that has allowed the drivers from the back to catch them up. And so now you've got this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars here in this group. It's quite a mix. So right now, as we look at Tobias Canter, who is in 8th place, Tobias is just 1.5 seconds back from Tiago Perez, who's at the front of this field. So everybody within 1.5 seconds in the top 8 here. And we watch Tiago Perez side by side with Adam Crane. There you see it's 3 wide, a little bit further back. We really don't know who to focus the camera on because there's so much action happening. Here's Unglenox on the inside of Alex Newsom. And Unglenox will lead that lap in front of Newsom. And there Olsson is getting caught up by this group. In the meantime, the strategy here for someone like Adam Crane or this charging Henry Bennett, who's on the inside as well, just behind Adam Crane, both of those cars are laps down, 2 laps down, and their strategy is if they can get in front of the leader, that should the caution come out, they will get the wave around and get one of their laps back. So Crane and Bennett, I'm sure, will to some degree work together to see if they can make that happen. It's in both of their best benefit to make that happen. So here's a time where you'll see 2 championship contenders actually trying to work together for the moment to see if they can get themselves back up to the front. Hey, hola Facundo, good to see you. Hi. Thanks for joining me over in the chat room, bud. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying today's race. I've run against you several times. I'm kind of surprised you're not out here racing in this series. Or at least in this slot. This is a good slot for a lot of our South American friends to join in. So you're watching on screen quite a battle with Tiago Perez, Alexis Newsom, Hugo Olsson, Chris Willite, Rob Unglenox, Oliver Silva, and there you see just these drivers are just all jockeying for position. It's almost not even worth talking about it because within 2 laps they've changed position again. So one thing I think you can say about this package that we have here for Texas, and is kind of what we run at these D-shaped ovals, and this is about the effect that we have seen at a lot of tracks, is the cars have what we call kind of a draft lock, which means that it's almost impossible to break away from somebody who is within a second or a second and a half of you at a track like this. And so effectively it bunches the whole field together, but as you can see, the cars are able to move around within that draft. So to some degree, this is a good package that allows a lot of movement and a lot of passing within that draft. However, should you find yourself falling out of the draft, you may not be able to claw your way back in, and if you're at the front, there's really not any opportunity to move ahead. So effectively what we have is pack racing, but within that pack you've got lots of downforce to do whatever you need to do. And you can just see, oh, and there we have further back, we have an issue. I'm not sure who that was. I want to say that was Andrew Wood, but I just only caught it for a second, so that was not Andrew Wood. Somebody just was sliding, and I don't see them dropping through the field. Was that Tobias Canter? I think that was Tobias Canter. Let's see if we can take a look at that. Some of our data not being shown to us in real time. Let's see if we can join on board. And so there's Cantor running behind Hallibutt. Cantor had gained so many positions on the day, 15 or 16 positions, and they're just getting into that outside wall. That's the same thing we saw Thomas Christensen doing earlier. And that looks to be the end of the day. Or at least the end of such a great run for Tobias. Tobias in 18th now, still finding himself up 6 positions, but it does not look like, although I don't really see any problems with the front of the car. I think it's missing the wing on the left side. It may be that the wheel is damaged and they may be out. We won't know that for some time. But staying on pit road, and in the meantime, we have lots of cars that have come into the pits. Here's your leader, Chris Willite, on track, leading this gaggle of cars, including, this is all of your leaders coming into the pits. We'll have to see who cycles ahead, who managed to stay out. And I believe that will also give Adam Crane a lap back. I'm waiting for confirmation on that, but yes, it does appear as though Adam Crane will get his lap back. I'm not sure if Henry Bennett will also, yes, Henry Bennett is also still out there, so Henry Bennett will also get a lap back. So this is Chris Willite, who leads Hugo Olsson and Rob Unglenox out of the pits. Take a look and see the pit stop time on your screen. And you can see overall how much positions they have made up on the day. So it looks like Olsson and Maleska having the shortest pit stops. I apologize, I can't. The graphic is so small on my screen, I have difficulty reading it myself, but I know you can see it better in the full screen version. Let's see if I switch it out of studio mode. Oh, that's so much better. Yes, 8.2 seconds for Olsson, and then 8.2 for Maleska, and looks like Ike spending the full 20 many more seconds. So Ike, if we take a look, must have fixed some damage, because Ike did do a 20-second pit stop that time. So let's do a little reset as we take a look at where everybody is running. We still show Adam Crane and Hugo Bennett at the front of this field. They have not been given their wave around yet. And we are now, this is the 148th lap of the race. And we have, I'm sorry, 140, or we're just on the 149th lap. We have 186 to run. So I imagine everybody will be good to go from this point on. No more problems with fuel management. This caution actually coming at a perfect time for that. And so we're going to see these drivers go flat out to the end of this race. It should be a lot of fun. Rob Unglenox in third place. Tiago Perez in fourth. See if we can get in a little bit closer, get some screen time for you guys and your sponsors here. Some of those are real sponsors. Some of them are just, this is just a fantasy series, so why not? You can run whatever livery you'd like. Some people have their team names on the side. So anyway, let's do a full recap here. We've got the lights off on the pace car, so we should be watching for going green. As you can see, Adam Crane and Henry Bennett have gone and taken their lap around. Now, that puts them back onto the lead lap. Is that right? I was showing yes. So Adam Crane maybe was only a lap down before. I don't really have the way to tell that, but either way, Adam Crane and Henry Bennett now back on the lead lap. Look out, folks. Look out. These two drivers can work their way right through the field. You've got Carlos Ruiz there just in front of these two drivers, Adam Crane and Henry Bennett. They'll be starting back in 11th and 12th, and they'll have some lap cars between them. But I tell you what, keep your eyes on those two cars coming through the field, because it will not take them long to find their way back up to the front. Here, the cars stack up as we get ready to go.
Green flag.
And we are green. No problems whatsoever getting back to the green flag for Chris Willite, with Hugo Olsson directly behind there in the yellow car. Tiago Perez trying to move down the inside. I saw it looks from our screen, it shows that there was contact and a little bit of wing loss for Tiago Perez, but now that's reset itself. Sometimes that happens with the new damage model. Meanwhile, Chris Willite has been caught up by Olsson, and Olsson goes to the outside. Perez in third. We've got just 33 laps left, folks. This race has actually gone much quicker than I was expecting. There has not been many cautions. That was, I believe, just the third caution today. So let's hope that we can finish this out under green, and we get a heck of a show here for the end. So currently running first, Chris Willite, Hugo Olsson battling, and there you see Tiago Perez, all three of those drivers, as well as Alex Newsom in the white car on the outside. Rob Unglenox there in fifth place, up 7 positions on your day. Robert Maleska there in 6th. So we look a little bit further back. Oliver Silva in 7th. Andreas Ike falling out of the draft there in 8th. And Carlos Ruiz in 9th place. 7 positions gained on the day. Matt Hallibutt on the lead lap now, 10th position. Adam Crane in 11th, and it looks like Henry Bennett has dropped back a bit in 12th. So we'll have to see if any of these drivers, and also it appears as though Andrew Wood is also on the lead lap. Is that correct? No, Wood is the first lap down car at the moment. So back up at the front, though, this battle is raging. Chris Willite in the purple machine. And you can just see how close this battle is behind. But Hugo Olsson in the yellow machine, not letting him out of his sights at all.
Hugo wants this win badly, and you can tell so does Chris. Chris is not always a winner in these series, but he's always a front runner, and I'm sure he would like to make his stamp on this series. So take a look real quick at what the points were. Don't want to cut into this battle for too long. But it was Adam Crane, Henry Bennett, Rob Unglenox, and then you saw Andreas Ike in 6th. He might drift back a little bit because of this. You see a number of other drivers that are not with us today, but will probably be racing in one of the other races this week. Some of the drivers may not be racing. They may choose to skip this week. Oval races don't always fit road course racers' agendas, and certain oval races are notorious for crashes and other problems, and so some racers choose to sit out those races. You are allowed a couple of drop weeks on this series. I'll have more information about the actual series for you next week. Again, we're just still kind of gathering our graphics for this series and some of the important information that you'd like to know. This being an evening race, I didn't show you the weather, but it is essentially 70 degrees. Take a look at that real quick. 70 degrees, it's close to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 22 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees the ambient temperature. So it is a night race, and once it becomes night, the ambient and the track temp pretty much are the same. Takes a little bit, and here we have news that Christian McCrelly has had an incident, and there you can see it. We joined it a little bit late. I'm not sure what happened there. Just got it probably a little bit wrong. Drifted to the inside of the track. And there we had a note that Carlos Ruiz also came into the pits. That moved Dan Ench a little bit further up into 14th place, but Carlos, and also Matt Hallibutt coming into the pits. So it's possible that those drivers managed to get themselves back on the lead lap by not pitting during the yellow. I'm not sure, but Matt Hallibutt now dropping back in your order from the lead lap. So here at the front, Willite, Olsson, and you see Maleska in 3rd in the red and white car. Alex Newsom in 4th place. What a beautiful battle this is on the track, as the cars are basically in formation here. Spread out across the track. In 4th place, Newsom, and then in 5th, Thiago Perez. Down a position now, but still hanging in top 5. There, Adam Crane has entered the pits. So once again, due to that strategy of staying out and taking the wave around, they were gambling on taking that, getting a caution and being able to move up and get a pit stop on the lead lap with the leaders. But unfortunately, that caution not coming out for them. So Adam Crane and Henry Bennett are going to drop back. This is allowing a couple of drivers to reclaim some higher positions. You've got Andrew Wood now up to 9th, 13 positions gained. Jacob Akmansky up to 10th. And then Dan Ench. Take a look a little bit further back. Here's Jacob running the red, white, and blue machine. And then Dan Ench here, just having a nice cool day. No incident points. 15 points gained. 15 positions gained on today in front of Carlos Ruiz and Adam Crane and Henry Bennett. So this battle is just intense. Look at this. This is IndyCar racing, folks. This is Texas, and this is IndyCar racing at its finest. You could make some little tweaks to the drafting rules and the aero packages, but nice tight racing. Cars have plenty of space, and they're able to stay side by side for long periods of time. So I hope you're enjoying this out there. We got Matthew Turner over in the chat cheering on Thomas Christensen. Thomas not really having the day that he would like, but it's all about the points and getting experience. You never know. Thomas Christensen might be out there for one of the other races this week, and all this experience will mean something. So very good chance that he might be able to capitalize on some of the things that he learned today, make a couple of setup tweaks, and you might see Thomas Christensen up there in the front. So again, thanks Matthew Facundo for joining me over in the chat and watching. We see there's a few people watching currently. Love to welcome you here to our flag-to-flag coverage of the 2021 IndyCar iRacing Series as we watch these three drivers on screen. This is Chris Willite, Alex Newsom, and Hugo Olsson. It's quite a gaggle up front, and it's a question as to who will have the car at the end. This is just thrilling as the top 7 cars separated by only 0.8 of a second. It's anybody's race, folks. Got Chris Willite, Hugo Olsson, and now Alex Newsom makes it 3 wide. I'm just like you folks. I'm on the edge of my seat, wondering when something might go wrong or if somebody is going to try a pass that will be a defining pass. We see drivers swerving around here as we get down to 12 laps to go. It's Chris Willite, Hugo Olsson, Alexis Newsom, Rob Unglenox, Tiago Perez, Robert Maleska III, Oliver Silva, and Andreas Ike. Then you start your first lap down cars of Andrew Wood and Jacob Ochmansky, and that is your top 10 as they run. Just outside of the top 10, Dan Ench, Adam Crane, Henry Bennett, Matt Hallibutt, Kazuhiro Shiba, Julian Arbo, Thomas Christensen running in 18th position, Tobias Canter in 19th, Christian McCrelly in 20th, and a number of these other cars. I believe Christian McCrelly is our first car that's officially out of the race. Laura Gearhart also out. Kyle Sosnowski out of the race. Connor Pearson, Miguel Bento, Christian Petschauer, Francisco Jose Romero, all of those drivers unfortunately not with us at the end of the race. As we see Hugo Olsson, I just got so used to just seeing him and Chris Willite battling side by side. It looks like Willite having an issue and dropping back a little bit. So here, maybe he just is positioning himself for the end of this race. It seems like the place to be is in the front, but you never know. Maybe Chris has something else in mind. Either way, Alexis Newsom in second, and Chris Willite third, Rob Unglenox fourth. Does not appear as though, and we're seeing a little bit further back. Let's take a look at it for a moment. It looks like this is quite a battle that's happening further back between these 4 drivers who are all a lap down, and they're all jockeying for position. You've got Carlos Ruiz, Henry Bennett, Adam Crane, and Matt Hallibutt all looking for that same position. Hallibutt, they're having a little bit of issue at the end, dropping back. But no change up front. Still the yellow submarine power slide motorsports machine of Hugo Olsson. And it looks like Alexis Newsom is looking to get around. We see some lap traffic coming up the road. That could play a factor. It will play a factor, I'm sure. That's Tobias Canter and Thomas Christensen doing battle just in front. It's a question as to how this is going to work out. Those two drivers staying up close to the wall and letting the leaders pass through. We'll have to see if they stay there or whether it will break up this front group, as there's just 4 laps to go. It looks like all 4 of the leaders, including Rob Unglenox, getting through okay, with Tiago Perez having a little bit of difficulty. So, just to recap, 3 laps to go, folks. This is as close as it gets at the front. Hugo Olsson with Chris Willite on the outside doing battle at Texas Motor Speedway. Willite holding tough on the outside, Olsson on the inside. We take a look further back here at Alexis Newsom. He's wondering where will he slot through this. Just 2 laps to go. Drivers making their final adjustments. We take a look. Where will everybody end up? It is nose to tail. Olsson and Willite side by side now. Newsom nose to tail. White flag. Last lap, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a 4 or 5 way battle for first happening here. It may just be Willite and Olsson. Olsson leads them out of 4. Willite looks to the outside. It's close, but I think Olsson got it. And he did. Officially, 0.02 of a second photo finish there for Hugo Olsson, bringing it home in front of Chris Willite and Alexis Newsom 3rd, Rob Unglenox 4th, Tiago Perez 5th. Olsson just looking to avoid cars stopping on the track. What a finish. What a finish. We'll take a look at the final finishing order there in just a moment, but congratulations to Hugo Olsson, who withheld several challenges and comes out on top, as it looks like we're getting ready to do something here. What are we going to do? Are we going to do some donuts maybe? And here we go, lighting it off at start-finish line. Some beautiful donuts Alex Zanardi would be very proud of there. So, it was quite a Texas shootout here at the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. Just an amazing race filled with lots of action at the front, not too many cautions, and what a way to finish it up there for Hugo Olsson to come away with the victory. So, we take a look here, if it'll allow us to look at the overall results, and it always puts us at the wrong part of the results. And there we go. Hugo Olsson, your winner in Texas for the second race of the week. Chris Willite, second. Now, of course, these, where their team names are listed, some of that is correct. Mostly it isn't. A lot of these drivers listed as privateer. Of course, Hugo Olsson with Power Slide, and a number of other drivers. Andrew Wood, of course, part of Team Talent, as well as Andrew Ike. So, or Andreas Ike, excuse me. So, Hugo Olsson with the victory. Congratulations. Chris Willite, second place. Quite a drive to the front. He gained many positions today. Rob Unglenox and Alex Newsom. Alex Newsom third, and Rob Unglenox fourth, with Tiago Perez coming through in fifth place. Quite a battle. And it's amazing to look at a couple of other drivers who make their statements, being known up here in the top 10. Robert Maleska was right there at the end, as well as Oliver Silva. But Andreas Ike having qualified on the pole and having quite a difficult time scraping the wall in the lead just as the Chris Willite and Hugo Olsson were approaching from behind. But it was that battle that was a defining moment. That scrape of the wall was a defining moment, as Andreas Ike would have to drop back from the battle. He would end up needing to pit and take extra repair, still finding himself in 8th place, but I'm guessing that's not going to do much for his points at the end of this. There, Andrew Wood coming home in 9th place. Andrew making his debut, I believe, here. No, actually, I take it back. One of our other broadcasts, we've seen him in this series. So Andrew doing a good job to find himself in 9th after having some different incidents during the race. And then there's Dan Ench. This guy, I tell you what, you just pay attention to any one of these races. Dan may not start towards the front, but he will end up somewhere towards the front. Here, walking away with a top 10 finish. Just a solid, clean racer. And Adam Crane, your points leader coming into the race, I believe this is probably going to give over the lead to Hugo Olsson after this is done, and we'll give you an update, obviously, as we get into our next race, which will be happening on Sunday. So a lot of other drivers are going to be questioning what could have been. This was a race where a lot of drivers did have pace at the front, but they just managed, for example, Matt Hallibutt there and Carlos Ruiz, they were right there at the front. Ruiz running right with the leaders, in fact, managing to stay in front of Hugo Olsson for quite a long time, but not able to get it together to stay in the main pack. So this was a heck of a race today, guys. I really enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed it as well. It was a lot of fun to see these drivers battling it out so much on the track, and it was pack racing. Pack racing sometimes is a lot of fun. Sometimes it causes dangerous accidents. Certainly in real life that can happen. But here, it was just a bunch of fast racing and a lot of competitiveness. It was a question mark who could have won at the very end, and multiple drivers had a chance. So that's exactly what we want to see out of the real life IndyCar series, and that's what we get. And here in iRacing, as part of the 2021 IndyCar iRacing series, we've got that as well. So we'll look forward to seeing you again. If you could like this video and subscribe to the VirtualRacing.Network YouTube channel, you will be brought up to speed on when the next race will be. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification box for that. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining us here. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. Oh, and we got Pelverappa joining us over, saying go Oliver, and Matthew Turner was in there today. Facundo Machine joining us in the chat room. Thanks again, guys. Pelverappa putting up the Norwegian flag, so definitely Matthew Turner. Appreciate it, guys, for joining me. We'll see you next time here on the VirtualRacing.Network.